You're with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live and interactive news conversation web TV, and I'm Prachi Jatanya. It's interesting to know that many strays that are rescued from the streets in not so good conditions find homes in pet shelters across the country. But it's not just these strays that get a temporary home, it's also many abandoned pets, pedigree dogs in fact, and pedigree animals who also get a home and are eventually put up for adoption at these very friendly and good pet shelters. We'll find out. Take a look at this.
Owning a pet is not as simple as paying to buy a ticket to watch a movie or flying out to an exotic land. It is not just entertainment. It is an emotional and financial commitment. Unfortunately for the pets, many pet owners end up abandoning their pets when they realize that there is more to owning these animals than just the cuddly, oh so cute bit. Animals that end up in these shelters are often victims of abuse and neglect by owners.
A lot of times the issue is people don't think and they don't kind of research before adopting a dog. That's a problem. Or before buying the dog. It becomes more a need of a status symbol, or it's on an insistence of a child.
NGOs such as Friendico's, Sanjay Gandhi Animal Care Centre, Animal Rahat and many others are the only hope for such homeless and abandoned animals. Though the animals kept here are put up for adoption, only a few find happy homes. Also, making them feel at home is a challenge for the caretakers at these shelters.
Every area's dogs are very territorial. So if one single dog goes to a new area, it's going to be very difficult and scary to readjust.
As much heartless as it is, abandoning a pet is of course easier than being responsible. Legal and social responsibilities are ignored by most pet owners. So isn't it time we had a more responsible pet culture?
Pet shelters are clearly a safe haven for many a rescued animal. And to take this conversation forward, we have in the studio here Mr. Ajay Deep Singh, who is from the Voice of Voiceless Society, the president there, and also Ms. Amritika, who is the treasurer of the Animal Care Society in Delhi. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. Also, we have on Google Hangout Elizabeth Jain, who has recently adopted dogs from a shelter, in fact, and takes pride in showing off her new babies at home. And we'll also have Ms. Sehaj joining us on Google Hangout, who herself also wants to give her perspective on pet shelters and is an animal lover. So I'll just come to you, Mr. Ajay. Can you tell us how safe or how useful or important are these pet shelters for many rescued animals?
See, it all depends. Today, the shelters are being filled up with loads and loads of animals being rescued, especially in the summers when people go out and they can't take care of their pets, they leave them at the shelters. Now, shelters are, the more the number of dogs are there, the more the chances of infections are there. So, shelters is not at all a safe place for your pets. But when a person is willing to leave the dog, they have no other choice than leaving it on the shelters. At times when shelters refuse to take dogs, they tie the dogs up in front of the shelters. They tie up at the gates, or like many times we found dogs right in front of Sanjay Gandhi tied to a tree. Or they leave dogs in front of even my house at times when people know that we do take care of dogs. So since we don't take in healthy dogs, or we at times refuse to take in healthy dogs, because we try and give homes to dogs which need a home, like they're disabled or injured or sick.
Right. Ms. Amritika, it's very important to find out the psychology behind. A lot of pet owners try and get pets during the summers for their children or during a holiday season, or it's more of under pressure that they want their child also to have an animal at home, a pet, and then suddenly they change their mind, or there are some limitations and they abandon them. What kind of a role do pet shelters, and where do they come in at this point then?
You see, animals, when people adopt animals or they buy animals, dogs, cats, whatever, they don't realize that it is a lifetime commitment, lifetime for the animal, and the breeds that they pick up are not good for the Indian environment. They have these dogs that, long haired, huskies, the climate doesn't. The best breeds for our climate are the Indian breeds, but that's not a status symbol. So people don't want to adopt that. Now, many times what happens is holidays are there, the puppy's cute, let's have the puppy come home, play with the kids go back to school, the puppy's growing up. Now it's not wanted. You don't realize that the puppy is going to be,
It's too much of
yeah,
work and involvement.
it's too much of work. You have to toilet train, you have to feed, you have to take for walks. So it's better to leave them somewhere. So they eventually go to the shelters. Now, again, as Ajaydeep had said, shelter is not a place for a healthy pet. So
And
they
it's
also,
unfair to a
it's
healthy pet.
absolutely
Supposed to be
unfair.
at home, taken care of, loved, and
Absolutely, absolutely.
what kind of challenges do you face, running an animal shelter? What kind of cases do you get, dogs or pets in really bad conditions, or the ones you rescue after getting a phone call from a volunteer or from an animal lover? If you could just take us through your kind of experiences you've had.
We've had varied experiences. We have had people who have locked their animals, their dogs up, pedigreed dogs up, gone on holidays, just left a packet of pedigree for them, food, and gone for 15 days. The dog is inside, he's finished the packet, now he's drinking water from the pot. So there's nothing for him. Neighbors have broken down the doors, they're trying to feed them. So there's a lot of cruelty that is involved, in this kind of a thing. We don't have enough people who are willing to help their friends look after their pets if the friends decide to go out on a holiday. Nor do we have enough boardings where we can put our pets for 15, 20 days, a safe place.
Yes.
So there are a lot of cruelties like this. People adopt, they don't want, shelters don't take, let's tie them up in the balcony. Let's not interact with them. Let's not,
Sheer neglect.
sheer neglect.
Torture.
Yeah, sheer torture.
What kind of infrastructure do pet shelters need, sir? What kind of resources, staff that you require, and expenses, and who really supports these pet shelters?
See, the old and the shelters which are already running and they're running since years, they've been supported by the government. But all the new shelters, like what our shelter is, till the first 3 years you get no aid from the government. It's only your friends and your network which helps you, but that is not enough. Because, keeping pedigree dogs is very expensive. Especially like if I have dogs like Saint Bernards and Huskies, which need an AC all the time. So I need to have that kind of a system. I need to have different rooms for different kind of dogs. Small dogs need a smaller place. Large dog need a larger place. Then dogs like Saint Bernards need an air conditioner. So it all becomes out to be very expensive. And the biggest problem is that we don't get that kind of staff. People are not ready to work with dogs. Even if you pay them double, they're not willing to come and help you with the dogs. They will not clean the poop. They'll not feed the dog.
Right.
So these are the practical problems which every shelter, big or small, has.
Right. A lot of these pedigree dogs or rescued animals are then put up for adoption eventually to families who are willing to take them, give them a loving home. I'll just bring in Elizabeth at this point, who's joined us from Bangalore. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us at the conversation on India Post Live. We appreciate your views and your participation. Tell us, what has been the experience like having these strays at home? They are part of your family now. What procedure did you go through, and what has it been like having them home?
So Prachi, to begin with, let me tell you that for as long as I can remember, all my life we've had pets at home. We always had dogs. We've also had cats along with the dogs. What we do is that we don't believe in picking up pedigree dogs and going through the entire hassle because they're not native to our environment, and we have to catch infections and we're prone to all kinds of diseases. In these needs, and we are surrounded by them, and there are things that these infections. At the end of the day, if you're on cover, it really shouldn't matter to you what kind of dog it is, what breed. We recently adopted two pets from the Animal Aid Alliance. Both of them just country dogs, but they are excellent. I mean, for function, if you're looking for guard, even just to make sure that the snakes in the neighborhood or whatever pests that you don't want around are taken care of. Not just that, they're doing everything possible for you. They're so kind. At the end of the day, all they are looking for is a little bit of love. And all you need to do is give them like your studio guest said, the moment you take on a pet, you can't say that I won't be able to feed it because I'm too busy, or I have to go on a holiday, so the entire house accepts and goes off somewhere and abandons them. That doesn't work. It having a dog at home, regardless of what kind of dog it is, it's like having a baby. It's a lifetime commitment. You take care of it, some visits to.
Right, I think there's a bit of an audio connection problem. We'll go to Sehaj. Thank you, Ms.
Time.
Sehaj, for joining us at the conversation. If you can hear us, what do you have to say in terms of the kind of experience one has in actually adopting rescued animals, or having a trend of pet shelters, or the necessity of pet shelters in our cities for animals who are actually abandoned on the streets?
In our city, we don't have very many pet shelters. We just have a SPCA shelter, and most of the dogs we have are like the desis or the sick and injured animals. But we have random cases of people abandoning their dogs just outside the shelter gates, or sometimes just leaving them with the vets and then they are diverted to us. And most of these dogs are like sick and beyond help, and they have been treated for a certain period of time. And when the owners realize that the dog is not making any headway, they just want to get rid of it without the guilt of abandoning the animal. So they think we are just dumping the dog at the shelter. They're going to take care of it in any case. And in most cases, we haven't had more than 3 months worth of survival. They eventually die out, if not because of the disease, then because of the infections that are going around in the shelter at any given time.
Right.
So,
right, that's a very important point you're making. I also wanted to know, do you feel that the pedigree dogs or pedigree animals take longer to adjust to a shelter space or environment compared to the strays that could be rescued, because they are used to a very tough environment already? They have better survival skills, so to say.
look, we have had most of the dogs that I have seen brought into shelters after leaving a loving home. They are totally heartbroken. They don't bond with anybody easily. We had a Doberman who was tied outside the vet for a few days before we found him, and he was so heartbroken he wouldn't eat for days. And then he became friendly with me. I would give him a walk, but then he passed away within a period of 1 week or so because he was beyond help. He was a pretty old dog. Dogs generally don't adjust very well. They're not used to having so many dogs around, so many people around, and they don't eat very well, and they just die of heartbreak at times. So it is not a very bright scenario in that case, because most people are getting dogs because it is in fashion. Vodafone is showing a pug, everybody is just running to the breeder and buying a pug. Now they are showing a fox terrier, everybody is running to the breeder and buying a fox terrier, and they abandon the previous dog because a new dog has come in fashion. In Punjab, we have this trend a lot. People just sell away their dogs or just dump their dogs and get a new one. It is as simple as getting a new car or a phone.
It's very heartening. It's very heartening, Miss Sehaj, to see your dog right behind. We can see your dog through the camera. Can you tell us how you managed to get this dog, and a little bit about your experience? What kind of involvement does it need to actually have a pet at home?
Look, this is a desi dog. My previous pet died in 2008 and I broke down totally. And my husband said, we are not getting a dog. And he just ventured into our street and he was all maggot infested. His leg had been eaten away from the inside. And he was like the size of a small bat. And I just went to park the car inside and I saw him. So I just picked him up and I took him to the vet in 2 weeks and he just totally transformed. He was just like a hairless bat and he turned into a shiny new puppy. He's a desi. He's typical, he's got cunny looks, tan spots and a black and yellow coat. And he's a very loving dog. He is so seriously attached to me. I have just come back from school and now he's going to sit wherever I sit.
Okay.
And he is totally zero perfect.
Great. Very few people like Sehaj and Elizabeth that we come to know are genuine pet lovers, animal lovers. What kind of struggle is there to see in terms of adoption for these rescued animals from pet shelters? Do you see some sort of a mindset or perception hassles with the adoptee parents or the families that are going to take them? Is it easier for puppies to be taken up for adoption compared to dogs that may have be 2-year-old plus, or animals 2-year-old plus?
There is a major issue in this. People are still not interested, though the trend is changing, to adopt Indian dogs at all. So even if it is a pup, the chances of it being adopted are very, very less. People are willing to adopt pedigrees that have been abandoned, but again, senior adoptions are almost zero. Up to maybe the age of 1.5, the dogs do get adopted, but after that, it is a battle finding homes for them.
Is there some sort of counseling, convincing it takes to actually also getting familiarity between the dog or the pet that has to be adopted from the pet shelter with the family that they're going to go home to?
Yes, we need to do that. See, normally even the adopter has that mindset ki an adult dog would not settle in their home, whereas the thing is not like that. Any dog which is abandoned is looking for love. It's looking for affection, and anyone who gives him love and affection gets a bonding with the dog. It is only a mindset ki only puppies do settle down with the families. It's not like that. Yes, there are some dogs which are aggressive, which takes time in settling, but that completely depends on how the dog has been handled in the past.
Right.
Has he been abused or not, or has he been kept nicely? So there are difficulties, yes, but we need to change the mindset of the people that these dogs also need a home. Now, like lately, somebody abandoned a 12-year-old Great Dane at my place, which again is very loving. She's so understanding that even after 12 years, she follows me like anything. It's only bonding. It's how much of love and affection you give them.
They become a part of the family, and it becomes a really huge emotional, traumatically emotional experience for the pet in concern, isn't it, ma'am?
Absolutely, the dog has heartbreaks. I mean, it takes time for us to get the dog out of its depression, if we are lucky, if somebody is willing to spend time and, show them love. But it takes time to get them out of that.
If we can also talk about other animals, you said you actually are fostering many animals, including squirrel and cats at your home.
Yes, cats. I have some desi cats that have been abandoned by the mothers. So then they come to me and we bring them up until they start eating from a bowl. And once they start eating from a bowl, then we put them up for adoption. Cat adoptions are picking up. People are going in for cat adoptions. But there is a myth again, billi nahi rakhna hai, all that sort of thing. But yeah, it is picking up, slow and steady.
And who actually calls you, animal lovers, or do you have like a network of NGOs or volunteers who actually call you about a particular animal that needs to be rescued?
Yes, we do have a network. We are on Facebook as Indian Animal Forum. Anybody who wants to join is most welcome. We have a network there. Then we send people from there, whoever is in that particular area. We request that person to go and see what the situation is, if they can help, if they can legally involve the police, if we can, So this is how we try and help the ones that require help.
So you first try and trace the owners. If not, then they are taken into the shelter.
We try and trace the owners. In any case, we pick them up off the streets. We foster them. We try and trace the owners. If the owner is not found, then we put them up for adoption after sterilization. So that, there's no breeding, it stops over there.
I'll just bring in Elizabeth at this point again. Elizabeth, what have been the challenges again to have these desi dogs at your home? You also said you've had cats, or trying to, give them a loving environment and healthy environment, because you also have your son who is into a very playful age, who would want to interact with the animals. So what kind of challenges do you face? Expenses of actually, having an adopted or a new adopted family member?
Well, it's really like having a baby. I have a who's as fond of dogs as I am, which really helps. And since we just added to our family, he might be thrilled. It's like having siblings for him. The challenges are, like I said, making yourself available and making the resources available to them. Time is a big thing because, you have to make certain choices. The entire family can't go out on an outing together because somebody's got to be at home all the time to look after them. And we, unlike a lot of other pet owners, we don't depend on store-bought food. So we actually take the trouble to make a ragi broth for them every day, along with meat in it and fish in it, and ensure that they've had it, go around checking the toppings are healthy. So we do all of that. So we're completely into animals. And for us, the problem is that a lot of people around in the neighborhood are not entirely like us. So what happens is, apart from the dogs that we have at the moment, all the other strays in the neighborhood tend to land up just outside us, because when it's meal time, they can smell the food. And so we while she was fine, now I substitute for her. We use a 12-week plan. We cook that much every day for these dogs so that everybody gets enough. So everybody gets at least 2 meals every day. One of them is not sterilized because the mother is a slightly hostile female. So she tends to give birth every year. So she has about 6 children. The population keeps adding. So we take care of them till they are willing to stay around. So it's just something that we like to do. And it's because we really care about it, we're compassionate. I've been working with people for some time. So I mean, that's family because all of us are like-minded. We tend to do this because we just feel it's not an obligation. It's done well. Medical expenses sometimes can get a bit much. One of our dogs right now, the doctor says she probably might was just a small little thing licked and made much worse. But she hasn't eaten for the last 2 days, so all of us are very worried about that. That sort of thing, I mean, it gets a bit strenuous for you. My mother, for one, gets very attached to her pets. She lost a pet parrot once and went into depression. So she's really a dog of people who sleeps inside along with my mother in her bedroom. So she's got that relationship. So all of us have our particular relationships which are really special.
Okay, I'll just bring in Charu very quickly, Elizabeth. Charu, you are a pet lover and you'd want to share your experiences or views on the topic of pet shelters. We are having a very lively discussion on the challenges, the problems that many rescued animals face, even pedigreed animals trying to, get a new home and get adopted in a more affectionate environment. What have been your experiences as a pet lover, Charu?
Most of the time what I have always, gone through is an experience is that the families are becoming nuclear. So, and a couple is working, so they have no time to stay with their pets, and this is the main reason why people try to, get rid of the pets they have. And secondly, I mean, their reasons are so that they are not able to give time either, or they have some physical issues, some health issues. So because of which they don't want to take the responsibility further. And this is coming down to the pets like dogs, cats, and I have gone through various villages and I've seen that people are giving up on cows like the cattle also for this reason, because their families are reducing, their per capita income is not increasing, and that's the reason why they want to give up on animals like pets. So this is what we have a problem with. And secondly is that people still have assumptions about the Indian breed dogs, because of which it becomes really difficult to convince them. At times they treat us like we are selling them a policy, the insurance policy. They don't want to think about it. So these are the issues that we usually come across every day while we try to convince some animal lover about adopting dogs. That's the main issue that we go through.
Right. Also, is there a problem of space in terms of the families that eventually adopt him, or the ones who could possibly have abandoned these pets have issues of space? There are smaller apartment spaces, but everybody wants to have a pet now. They don't see that, a dog may not fit into an apartment, but probably a cat or a hamster or, even a bird would be a better fit in that kind of a home.
Absolutely. I mean, we have had cases where people have shifted from farmhouses and come to Delhi, and they have breeds like Saint Bernards being locked up in the balcony because there's just not enough room in the house. So if they shift a little bit and they open their minds towards smaller animals like cats, it would be wonderful.
Right. Have you also seen, Charu, in terms of, you spoke about cattle, what about horses? A lot of farms have horses as well. A lot of people from the higher income groups and upper middle class families do keep these horses, breed them, but are not able to really take care of them. Eventually, you see them loitering in the streets, injured and unfed and actually ill-treated. Have you seen that, Charu?
Yeah, basically, for them, yeah, I mean, a few of the farmhouses that we have in, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead,
Okay,
Charu.
so there are a few farmhouses that we have, there are a few farmhouses that we have seen. They keep horses I mean, probably they have this as a status symbol or something. There's no emotional attachment that we can see through. actually they become when a dog becomes old, the horse become old and he's not capable of being used as a status symbol. They are rather given up on the road. They litter around. So with horses, yes, of course, we have seen a lot of cases, and we have seen a lot of cases of accident with horses. I mean, the road accidents. So because of which they land up either shelter or probably they die on the road.
Right. What have you seen in terms of horses or larger animals other than dogs? What have been, the difficulties that one sees while getting them into a pet shelter?
See, horses and larger animals, basically what we see in horses are those ones, the ones which pull the carts. They're not basically horses which belong to people who keep them as pets for breeding, because they normally don't abandon the horses on the road. That's what, as far as what I have seen. Yes, there are a lot of cattle, because there's a village nearby my house, and every other day we find a cattle injured or trying to deliver on the road or some problem. So we have a system where we call the municipality, we send them to a shelter, but which is not a very, we don't know what happens to them at the shelter, especially with large animals being used even after they die. We are not very sure with the shelters connected with the government authorities. Otherwise, we have no means and options to pick them up and take them. Small animals, still you can pick them up in a car and take them to the hospital or get them treated, but large animals you can't. There are so many donkeys. Especially in Faridabad, there are so many donkeys loitering around. They belong to somebody or the other, and they use them every day, and once they're of no use, they leave them. And so many donkeys in Gurgaon, which the legs have been tied up because they can't run away.
Right.
So
It's
large
also ill
animals,
treatment of animals that you have seen.
big time ill treatment of large animals. They've been made to carry extra load,
Right.
which they can't.
Exactly.
Which they can't, and then even like I've seen till the time the cows milking, it's good. Once it stops, it's been thrown out to eat plastic.
The male calves are abandoned at even as young as 2-3 days old. They're just chucked out into the roads. We have recently rescued 3-4 of them and taken them to shelters.
What happens to them then?
Depends which shelter you take them to. If you're taking them to one of the shelters that we know, they allow them to grow up and
Right. On this note, I'll bring in Dr. Deepa from Mumbai. Thank you, Dr. Deepa, for joining us and taking out time to be a part of this conversation on India Post Live. Can you hear us clearly? Dr. Deepa, yes, can you hear us? Can you hear us? I think there's an audio connection problem. She is actually a vet, and would have given us more inputs on the medical issues. But in terms of legalities and formality of procedure, like Mr. Ajay has been pointing out, that you have to keep a cordial relationship with the municipal authorities and also a good network of volunteers and animal lovers. What are the other requirements or sort of niggling factors that could make running a pet shelter a little more tougher?
See, a lot of these again, abandoned animals that come in. It's very difficult with the vast variety of animals that come in to be able to handle them that well. Plus, a lot of them that come in are infected with various diseases. There's no quarantines. There's no separate area where we can put the distemper dog or the parvovirus dog.
Right.
Rabid dogs come in, we don't have a place where we can segregate them to follow the procedures.
Okay.
So we need to have larger places. We need the ABC program to kick in again.
Okay.
We need major sterilization to take place, so that we don't have that many street dogs left.
Exactly.
On the roads that are coming under cars, are falling sick. We are
Correct.
rushing to the shelters,
Or
trying
dog
to
bites. Exactly. One final appeal, if you could make, we are almost running out of time. Both of you, having worked for so long and, being in the field of, animal care, what is your one last appeal to people watching and animal lovers in general?
help them. Please help them. They really need help. Put water bowls out, feed them, befriend them. The minute they're friendly with you, get them sterilized. get their treatments done, get their vaccinations done. Let's all do this together.
Right. Mr. Ajay, would you recommend people having a more humane approach, being compassionate?
Yes, I'd request them not to abandon their pets, and even if they have to abandon in any ways, they should go and leave them properly in a shelter instead of tying them out on the road or on the gate of the shelter. And they should report any cruelty happening to animals to the concerned authorities. It can be AWBI, it can be the local NGO, whomsoever.
Right.
But the cruelties have to be reported. People are ignoring the neglecting cruelties happening to animals. May it be hitting to dogs or overloading of horses or keeping wildlife as pets.
Right. Very, very valid point. Dr. Deepa, very quickly, you joined in from Bangalore. If you can hear us, your views in terms of pet shelters and the requirement, an urgent requirement for pet shelters to have better infrastructure, funding, and also people who are animal lovers. What is your message? If you could just unmute the mic, ma'am, we are not getting your audio. Elizabeth, I'll just come to you for one final word, Elizabeth and Sahaj. Elizabeth, what are your thoughts? What would that one appeal that could go out from an animal lover like yourself, and what would you tell people watching?
Well, just simple things like your guest said. Just leave a bowl of at least for them outside, and if possible, don't be nasty to them. If you can't be nice, at least don't be mean. That's the least that they can do. And as far as possible, if you can feed them something, just a little bit of what you can afford, that would be just great. And as often as possible, if it's possible, that if you know somebody that who cares about animals, get as many stray animals spayed as possible. Have increasing numbers of animals that people are not willing to handle, or which really can't take care of themselves in the open because, well, they're domestic, but they really can't forage and find food on their own because there are just too many of them.
Right. And Sahaj, what are your thoughts as we bind up the show? Very quickly, one final, comment that you'd like to make.
Whenever people come to me and complain about dogs or other animals, I just have one thing to say to them, that these are hungry beings. They're not hungry for the food that you can give them, then they are hungry for the love that you can offer. Provide either of them and they will never hit back, they'll never bite you back, they'll never trouble you. They just need these two things, just provide them. And as a citizen of India, we have all the right to stand up for every cruelty that is being done against them. So just raise your voice, don't pass away silently. It's your call and you must take it.
Great. Charu, Charu, one final appeal that you could also make as an animal lover, what would that be?
First thing would be, see, if you cannot be good to them, don't be bad to them, of course. Just leave them alone. It's, you don't have to be running after them all the time. Just leave them alone. Let them have their own life. Secondly is that legal setup is in the place. You just have to apply it. You have all the rules with you. All the legal, sides are with you. You just have to be more vocal about it. You just have to be more practical about it, and you've got to speak about it. Even if people are not interested, you just have to put your mind and tell them that, boss, this is something which is happening and you've got to stand for it. Right. See, the animals are the fundamental of our society, and if the base is strong, we're going to be growing better.
So have a heart, really. That's what all our panelists are saying, and that's one final appeal. Dr. Deepa, if you can just give in a quick comment before we end the show. Doctor, if you can hear us. I'm not too sure we have your audio though. Very sorry, we apologize for that technical problem. Technology really does let you down. But I'll just try to, get one final appeal. If you could just read out some details, like you said, of your Facebook page or any other number that you'd want to give out to people who could call you, animal lovers or concerned citizens who could actually, contact you.
You can join on Facebook. It's Indian Animal Forum, the group, where we network together. We are just volunteers. This is not an NGO. It's just to network, to be able to get people to help, whether it is an injured animal and an animal needs to be picked up, cruelty. So we try and network the people who are in that area, and this is all over India.
Okay.
So we try and help people in that area, provide them with the laws that they can use. We have the entire backing.
Right.
And once that is there, empower you to do it yourself.
Great. On that positive and happy note, thank you so much, both of you, for joining us on IndiaPostLive.com, and all our guests from different cities, animal lovers, pet lovers, and very, very concerned citizens. Thank you for your voices. Do put in your tweets on our Twitter handle @IndiaPostLive, and also on our internet page, IndiaPostLive.com. We want to hear your voice. Be a concerned citizen, have a heart, and be humane to animals. Thank you so much for watching. Keep and stay tuned. Goodbye.